The air crackled with anticipation. It was thick with the smell of sweat and popcorn. A wave of red hats stretched as far as the eye could see. This was Trump country. Excitement filled the air. These people came from all walks of life. They were farmers, teachers, and shopkeepers. They were united by one thing: their unwavering support for Donald J. Trump. Flags bearing his name fluttered in the breeze. Homemade signs declared, "Make America Great Again, Again." The crowd chanted in unison, their voices echoing a potent mix of frustration and hope. They felt ignored by the Washington elite. They believed Trump was their savior. He would fight for them. He would restore America to its former glory. As the sun beat down on the throng, a hush fell over the crowd. A giant screen flickered to life. A montage of Trump's speeches played, each clip punctuated by roars of approval. The crowd was ready. They were eager for their champion to appear. The music swelled. The crowd erupted. Donald Trump, radiating confidence and charisma, strode onto the stage. The roar was deafening. He soaked it in, his signature grin beaming out at his adoring fans. "We love you, Trump," came the cries, echoing the sentiment of the fervent crowd. He launched into his speech. His words were a familiar cocktail of patriotism, promises, and attacks on his opponents. The crowd hung on his every word. They cheered, they jeered, they chanted along. Trump fed off their energy. He was in his element. This was his stage, and they were his devoted audience. He spoke of a nation in peril, threatened by forces that sought to destroy its very fabric. He painted himself as the only one who could save them. The crowd ate it up. They believed him. He was their voice. He would lead them to the promised land. Suddenly, a commotion broke out near the front of the stage. A woman, her face contorted with rage, was being restrained by security. She thrashed wildly, her voice a high-pitched scream that cut through the cheers. The crowd, momentarily stunned into silence, watched in disbelief as the scene unfolded. Secret Service agents, their faces grim, moved with lightning speed. They swarmed the woman, shielding Trump with their bodies. He was whisked off stage in a blur of motion. The woman, still screaming, was dragged away. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Whispers turned to shouts. What had just happened? The rally descended into chaos. People pushed and shoved, desperate to see what was happening. Fears of an assassination attempt spread like wildfire. The air, once thick with excitement, now crackled with fear and uncertainty. The day had taken a dark and unexpected turn. The crowd, shaken and confused, slowly dispersed. The festive atmosphere was gone, replaced by a palpable sense of unease. News of the attempted attack spread like wildfire, dominating headlines and social media feeds. The nation held its breath, waiting for answers. Trump, seemingly unfazed by the incident, emerged later that day to address the nation. He condemned the attack and praised the swift actions of the Secret Service. He vowed that such an incident would never deter him from fulfilling his duty to the American people. His words, intended to reassure, did little to quell the growing anxiety gripping the nation. The attempted attack sent shockwaves through the political landscape. It raised serious questions about the safety of public figures in an increasingly polarized society. Security measures were immediately heightened at all political events. The incident served as a stark reminder of the volatility and unpredictability of the times. The woman, identified as 28-year-old Sarah Jenkins, was quickly apprehended. Initial investigations revealed a troubled past marked by mental health issues and a deep-seated hatred for Donald Trump. Her social media accounts painted a disturbing picture of extremism and violence. Jenkins had spent countless hours in online echo chambers, consuming and disseminating hateful rhetoric. She had become radicalized, convinced that Trump was a tyrant who needed to be stopped at any cost. Her story, though extreme, highlighted the growing danger of online radicalization and the real-world consequences of unchecked hate speech. Her actions, though condemned by all sides of the political spectrum, ignited a fierce debate about the role of social media in fueling extremism. Calls for greater accountability and regulation of online platforms intensified. The incident served as a wake-up call to the dangers of a digitally connected world where hate and misinformation could spread like wildfire. The attempted attack on Donald Trump exposed the deep divisions that plagued American society. It highlighted the growing polarization, the erosion of civil discourse, and the normalization of violence. The incident became a lightning rod for both sides of the political divide. Trump supporters pointed to the attack as evidence of the left's hatred for their leader and their willingness to resort to violence. Opponents of Trump condemned the attack but argued that his rhetoric and policies had created a climate of fear and division that made such incidents more likely. The nation seemed more divided than ever. The attack on Trump was not an isolated incident. It was a symptom of a deeper malaise, a reflection of a society struggling to cope with rapid change and deep-seated anxieties. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the importance of dialogue, understanding, and respect for opposing viewpoints. The question remained, could America heal its divisions and find a path forward together?